All right, lastly, let's go over indices now. So this was a pretty cool little trade that I caught here. A lot of people caught this too. This is another really easy one here. So the day opens high into the current high of the week, creating SMT. And when we get to this level and you create SMT, you cannot trade within this 1800 candle because the wick is too big, right? So you automatically have to wait for 2200. Now, what makes this a good trade, in my opinion, is how this asset here took out the high of the week. And this asset here, when we look at the high of the week, that would be right here. Look where it's positioned, right? It's super low in the range. And this asset had already taken out lows. You guys see this? Had already taken out lows and kind of failed to manipulate them. But they're still super decoupled, right? They're like super decoupled. And you can't expect in Q to catch up in the same day. It's because of the wick size. You see this large wick? Like this is a huge wick at this point. Very large wick. It's literally bigger than yesterday's whole entire range. So it's not like you're going to resync today or nothing like that, but we can at least get a very nice reaction back to the daily open. Like that's still a huge range back to the daily open. You just can't expand beyond it. So that's where I actually TP'd. There's actually no wick either. Look, there's no wick there. So that actually adds to the probability, obviously, because you create a new day opening gap right here. As you can see, there's a gap there. So yeah, so that's the day opening high first, supporting our universal model. We have advanced premium discount as well. Now, when price is so decoupled, if you want to trade that lagging asset, protecting the asset that it's manipulating, you really want to strength switch. So that's exactly what we get. So if I go to the 90-minute time frame, we get a strength switch here, which is a sequential SMT. As you can see here, we take out the previous 90-minute high. And over here, we do not. You can just see right here the previous high. You see we take out the previous high. Look where YM is at. If I mark at the previous high, well, technically the previous high is actually way up here. Wait, is this the previous high? Yeah, it is, right? Yeah, this is the previous high right here. If I go to YM, look at the previous high is at. It's like, you see how decoupled they are, guys? Like super decoupled. So when you get the strength switch, that literally tells you which assets is basically manipulating, right? But the profile also supports this as well, right? Because it opens high first. So this is like so high probable, guys. It's fucking insane. But you need to wait for what? You need to wait for this candle to open. So when I look within this wick, that's why I don't need to resweep this wick, guys. Because when I look within this 4-hour candle, what did we already do? We already strength switched, right? We strength switched at 2100. So that's an hour before this 4-hour candle actually closes. So here, when we open, sorry, 2200. I was thinking I was on the hourly, my bad. So yeah, we strength switch at, look right here, yeah, 2100. So you got to wait for 2200 basically. And since we already have a reversal within that little wick, that little tiny wick, we can just expand pretty much, right? And I'm just going to confirm that with an intercandle CSD. So mark out the new opening price of the 4-hour candle, which would be right here. So we open high first, boom, then we CSD. It's as simple as that, dude. Simple as that. You mark XU right there. Pre-stop loss the current 4-hour high. And yeah, we should be off to the races all the way to the current low of day. Literally all the way to there. But obviously, I'm not going to hold my full trade there, right? What am I going to do? Take it from the draw liquidity to the actual reversal high. And around here is where you can partial something, right? For 6R. So, because this, I'm trading the reversal, remember? That's where you're going to get the most RR. See how high it is? 14R. And yeah, you hold the full trade. Once it did this shit, like expand like that, like you pretty much know. Like you're good to go, right? We have a consolidation phase of price, which is a continuation phase of price. And we continue, right? All the way to our drawn liquidity. We get edged for a little bit here, but ultimately hits our drawn liquidity. And this is a great TP, right? This ended up being a great TP because we already know, like we already know to not hold this trade like all the way down here, right? Because of the wick size. because we know how candles form, right? And this is why knowing candle profiling is like so important, because you know how you can know like where you should be targeting, right? Where realistic targets are, and all that. So we don't just TP like randomly and partial just randomly. That's all with logic. So you're gonna see when I exit out of here what we do. We expand higher. Here, when we were forming this, like I could see this two stage, but I was not interested in this two stage. What I was interested in happening, you're gonna see with ES. I actually wanted this to break. That's why I have this line drawn. I was not interested in this because I know that the daily candle, it literally cannot go lower. Like it cannot go lower than the current low of day. It's gonna have a really hard time. And YM started expanding higher, right? This to me was like a strength switch, right? That's why I have this line drawn as well. Is because I thought that NQ was going lower and YM was going higher as a decoupling. This is how markets become correlated when they're super decoupled to begin with. They actually decouple again to become correlated, if that makes sense. And you'll see this in my asset sync video. It's a little sloppy sometimes the way it forms. Like today is like really sloppy the way it forms. But for example, if let's try to do this. Let's say one asset is like way up here, one asset is like down here. They'll become decoupled to become correlated, right? This asset will go lower. Well, this asset becomes expanding higher. Does that make sense? Like they're decoupling to correlate, if that makes sense. So that can happen. So that's what happened today. That's what I assumed to happen because the wicks here, the wick size supported it. Expansion, we had open draws, and NQ was going lower. I didn't want it to go this low. Like I didn't think it was gonna go this low. I was looking for, I don't know, there wasn't really much within this range to be honest. Like maybe like it's a reverse like EQ or some shit of this range to then go higher. But no, it actually didn't. When it came down here, like obviously you want it to sweep up this low, which is the current low of day. And when it does this, this is a really good area to go long, to be honest. And I really could have longed. Like you could have longed here. You just want to do it at 10:30, because look at this candle, this 9 AM candle, very very large reversal candle. So wait for 10:30. That's when you get that move higher, right there. This SMT is high probability because of the daily candle. Like the daily candle is the reason why this is high probability, right? Because we can't expand beyond it. So if you can't expand beyond it and you create an SMT at the current low of day, I mean, just automatically it's high probability, right? This creates a two-stage SMT via consecutive candles on the 6 hour. This is a bearish candle. We sweep out that candle's low. This is a bullish candle. We do not sweep out the candle's low. Right? This candle, this has had no business reversing, like going lower at all at 9:30. This is how you know it's likely manipulation. Right? This is likely manipulation. You have to manipulate a low for it to be manipulation. We do that. Create SMT. This is also a PSP as well on ES. So really, dude, this is a really good long, in my opinion. Like right here, boom. Right. I was just more interested in gold longs. Kind of just picked the wrong asset, or silver longs, whatever. I ended up taking a loss. Is what it is. Let's check out my trade actually over here. Okay, I'm probably gonna start trailing or whatnot. In my gold recap, I said I was in this long here, but yeah, man, that's really it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If this hits, I mean.